Hey there everybody, Aaron here. Welcome to another episode of Gideon's Tactical. As we wrap up 2013, I wanted to just do kind of an overview of my favorite fixed blades for 2013 that I've tested, used. You'll see a few on the table as we go through this video that have not been posted yet. We'll be posting them in the first quarter of 2014, but these are the knives that I used in 2013 that really blew me away for fixed blades. They're the ones that I absolutely keep around. I'm not getting rid of or trading or, passing on to someone else to test out or giving away as gifts. These are the ones that I keep in my collection that when we go out, I'm either pairing with another knife we're reviewing, or maybe, we're reviewing a pack that day, or we're going to do, a philosophy video, or we're going to talk about batoning. These are the knives that I keep around and aren't, kind of rotating through the Gideon's Tactical, compound and collection. These ones stay for 2013. Now this will probably change. We're going to do another one at the end of 2014. I'm sure some knives will be added. I'm sure some knives will go away from this collection. But in the end of 2013, going into the first quarter of 2014, these are my go-to fixed blades that I highly recommend that work for my system of use and how I like and love fixed blades. And if you're watching this video, I know you do too. So these are the ones that I would absolutely top shelf, the number 11s, the ones I recommend more than any others. That's not to say that the other knives we reviewed on this channel aren't great knives. We have a lot of really good knives out there that do a lot of really good things, but they just either don't connect with me maybe visually, or I have another knife that basically does the same thing and I just like that other knife a little bit better. So you'll see that a lot throughout this video, that there are great fixed blades out there that we review throughout the year. We review a ton of them. But these are kind of, I don't even know how many are on the table, around 10. This is about the dozen knives that I keep all the time for into 2014, end of 13, into 14, that I would highly recommend and love having around. I'll tell you kind of why as we go through this video. So let's go ahead and jump out there, begin to check out my top rated knives of 2013. So the Tops Light Trekker is really where we're going to start at, and this is one of my favorite smaller, lightweight blades. I love this knife for a lot of reasons. It's 1/8 of an inch thick, which is great. The 1095 is going to hold an edge just like an SE4 and SE3 would, and it's basically kind of like the best of both of those worlds. It's as thin as an SE3, but it has the blade length of an SE4. Handle feels amazing in my hand, fantastically just felt, and just fit and finish is just awesome on this handle. They give you a little blank spot, great Kydex sheath, very lightweight, 5 ounces for this 4-inch 1095 high carbon steel blade. I love having this around for the food prep, for the whittling, the carving. So lightweight, great for the just light hikes or to pair with your larger blades. I love the Tops Light Trekker. So you'll see a review coming in early 2014 for the Tops Bob Fieldcraft knife. And I gotta say, I freaking love this. I'm just basically giving away the end of that review right now to you guys who watch the channel. This is awesome. I love this blade. It's a little heavier than what I kind of prefer for that size, but if I want something, I might be doing some fieldcraft, but I'm not sure yet, or I just want something that's a little bit more robust than the Light Trekker, this is what I gravitate to. This is the Blade HQ edition. So it's got the black G10 handles, but I love the Scandi grind, the 3/16 of an inch thick, the 4.3 inch actual cutting edge with the Scandi grind is insane. Just love the traction plan and just how it feels in my hand. Great Kydex sheath, comes with the fire steel as well as the notch that works fantastic. You'll see that in the review. So I actually got rid of my Laser Strike. My Laser Strike was kind of my go-to, a little bit more robust knife than the Light Trekker. And after having used this a bunch, I was never using the Laser Strike. So I booted the Laser Strike and I'm keeping the Tops Fieldcraft. This is a mind-blowing blade, and I would highly recommend it. I freaking love this knife, and you'll see a review coming in early 2014 for the Tops Bob Fieldcraft. Freaking thumbs up on that blade. Ka-Bar Becker BK2. I gotta say, I think every guy who is a knife nut and likes going out in the woods needs to have a Becker BK2. I will say that this is not my favorite knife in my collection. This is probably one of my least used knives in my collection. But you cannot beat the price point of under $70. You can get between 60 and 70 bucks amazing blade. You get the 1095, you get the 1/4 inch thick. I mean, it's just a workhorse. I would have liked to see it a little bit longer, you know, 6 or 7 inches would have made me want to carry it more often. The blade length kind of holds it back from, you know, the big batoning task, but it chops amazing. Ergonomics are good. I will say, you see the nylon sheath here. You got to go with the nylon sheath. Do not get the glass reinforced, you know, kind of Kydex looking one. Thumbs down, totally sucks, dulls your blade every time you take it out. The nylon one is the one you want to go with, the nylon sheath. But it's just a workhorse, and that's what's great, is I can kick the crap out of this knife and not even have to worry about it. And, you know, I paid almost less than, you know, 50 bucks, I mean, just over 50 bucks for it. So that's awesome and great too, you know, if you take a lot of buddies up with you, you know, or you got family members maybe who aren't all that, you know, careful with knives or don't really know how to use them, you can throw on the BK2, they're not going to break the tip, you know, or split it, you know, crack it, chip it, you know, I mean, it's so easy to work with. So the Becker BK2, not my favorite knife in my collection, the one that probably goes out the least, but you gotta have one. It's just a great go-to blade depending on what you need, and particularly, you know, if you're just looking for a really good workhorse at a very inexpensive price, BK2 is definitely one that I keep in the collection. Alright, here we got the GSO5. We'll be releasing a review in January of 2014 on this knife. I've already done kind of an unboxing of this particular blade. I've gone out and used it on several expeditions, and I gotta say, I really love this knife. Now, the issue and the caveat for a lot of you is going to be the price. You know, you're going to be paying around $230 bucks for this knife. And I will say this was kind of my you know, gift to myself this year. You know, and I didn't really need this knife, but I wanted this knife, if you can kind of understand that. I'm sure none of you have that in your collection. And it's really what you're paying for is the CPM 3V steel. The edge is insane. I have not touched it up yet. I have baton, chopped, hacked, and with stuff like my Becker BK2, and I'll just kind of pull that in, I mean, I would have had to resharpen this thing several times with the amount of abuse that I've put the GSO through. You can see they're very similar in both size and length. And the reason that I like the GSO is that it's basically giving me the same blade geometry that my Becker has, but it's 3/16 of an inch thick, so it's a little thinner, better for slicing. The edge retention, of course, and then it's lighter weight, and it comes with a really nice Kydex sheath. So an amazing blade, you know, and it's really, you're paying for the steel. And I love having it around and using it on a regular basis. It's a great knife to pair with a larger blade like an SE Hungalis or BK9 or something like that. I really, really like the GSO5. I'm keeping it around, and you know, it's just definitely one of those kind of collectible, usable blades for me. I really like the GSO5. Alright, so what we got here is the discontinued SOG gov-tac. I really like this blade. I was considering when I purchased it just doing a tabletop and then reselling it when I found out that it was discontinued, but I've decided to keep it around because the blade geometry is insane. I love the blade geometry. You got 5 inches of actual cutting surface, AUS 8 steel, 3/16 of an inch thick, great stabber and penetrator. This is kind of my tactical blade that I own right now. All the rest of them are mostly wilderness blades first and then tactical second. This is, you know, definitely designed to be a tactical blade. I love the craton handles. They give you the lanyard hole, a flat head screwdriver, so it's very easy to fix that pommel if it ever were to loosen up on you. And great guard, great jimping along the spine here. I really like that, in that finger choil, so I can really choke up. And even though it is designed as a tactical blade, I can absolutely use it, you know, for carving and whittling. You know, this isn't a good chopper, and it's not a good, you know, batoner necessarily, just for its blade design. But for carving and stabbing, I mean, the gov-tac is freaking awesome. Good sheath. They are still available. They're still around, you know, but the price is just going to go up because they are discontinued. I really like that, and I decided to opt with that one and not keep a K-bar, just normal utility blade fighting knife, because I just liked the blade geometry and how this felt in my hand a lot better than just the normal K-bar. Well, you guys have already seen the field test of the SE6. This is the SE that I keep, that's kind of, you know, of the smaller line of the SE5, Laser Strike, you know, those type of knives. This is the one that I keep on me all the time. This is really, in my opinion, one of the best of both worlds blades you can get on the market. I got the aftermarket G10 handles from the Knife Connection in the, what did I get it in? The mil-spec camo to match the sheath. Great sheath as well. I like the sheath a lot. So, I mean, really for the price point, right around $100, you're just a little bit over, about 110, you're going to get an amazing blade that you can absolutely use as a tactical knife. You can absolutely use it that way. It's a great, lightweight chopper, great batoner, and I can carve and whittle with it all at the same time. Just great handle design. I love the finger choil, so I can really get up there and do that detailed stuff, but it's got the 12 ounces that I can really chop and get in there, and then, at 5.75 inches of actual cutting edge, I can really span some really good wood if I need to, baton some wood. So really, if you're looking for like a one quiver knife, if you will, like, oh, I only take one knife up, I would say the SE6 is definitely at the very, very top of my list. The high carbon steel, the edge retention, I mean, everything about this blade freaking blows my mind, and it is really the best of both worlds. You can do your detailed, really small, fine carving work, but you can also get some really good chopping and batoning done with an SE6. So that's really my go-to one quiver knife, if you will, blade that I own is the SE6. All right, so here on the table we have the Tops Dart. And now we're starting to get into the bigger blades now. This one has a cutting edge of 6.5 inches, so now we're starting to kind of get up into bigger blades. Really, I can't really justify why I own this blade. I just really, really like it. I gravitate towards it. I like that kind of modified kukri design. I like it a lot better than the Buck Thug. We tested and reviewed both of these knives, the Tops Dart and the Buck Thug, and I originally had the Buck Thug, and then when I got the Dart and began to use that, I got rid of the Thug because it just wasn't there for me in comparison. So, I mean, it chops like a much heavier blade. It weighs 15 ounces. It chops like a BK9 or my SE Hungless, to be real. I mean, even though it only has 6.5 inches, it won't span as much wood. That really modified kukri design is just fantastic. The ergos on the handle are awesome. 3/16 of an inch thick, which is perfect for me. I love that thickness. That's really my go-to thickness. I don't really care for a lot of 1/4 inch thick blades, even at the bigger, sizes. Very good on the ergos, so you can do some carving, but you can also chop like a much bigger blade that weighs more and get the same type of, brush clearing capabilities. Only downside is the sheath is kind of bogus, particularly with the, Velcro straps. That's the only kind of holdback that I have. So I really can't justify owning this, particularly in my system, that I usually do of like a lighter 4 or 5 inch blade and then a heavier 10 or a 9 inch blade. This kind of doesn't fit in my philosophy usually, but if we're going out and testing a big blade and I just want to carry a different one and I can convince one of my other buddies that we're going to go up filming with that day to carry the big heavy new blade, I'll sometimes take my Tops Dart because it'll do a lot of work for you and at a pretty good price of around $140 to $150. Tops Dart, I love having it around, not going to get rid of it. Great, unique blade to have in a collection. Hard to even get this monster into frame. The Becker BK9. My philosophy on blades has really changed over the years, and the more I use big fixed blades, I see the value of having them. You're going to see a lot more big wilderness knives coming in 2014 knife reviews. And the Becker BK9, I was really, when I bought it, I was like, well, we'll see what happens. I went out there, and it chops like my SE Hungless. I'm going to pull that into frame here really quick. It chops like this, but the BK9 is only 17 ounces. This one's 22. So, I mean, you're cutting down on several ounces of weight with the Becker BK9, but it chops and bites in the same as that much heavier SE Hungless. So I really like that. I don't really care for the clip point design that they did here. It doesn't really help with your batoning, kind of hurts your batoning stick quicker than your Hungless would, but it's not bad. 9 inches is great for spanning, and the handle, the Becker handle, is fantastic. They're my favorite chopping handles on the market. They're pretty ergonomic, and then on top of that, they give you this awesome hook back here. The best hook really on the market for chopping, so the knife stays in your hand and doesn't fly out. Batons well. It just hurts your batoning stick that you're going to be, slamming through your hammer. It just hurts that a little quicker and breaks it a little faster than other knives. But for $80, home frickin' run, the Becker BK9. You guys will be seeing a field test and review on this knife coming in early the first quarter of 2014. Alright guys, and last but not least, we got the SE Hungless. I can't even get it into frame, the thing's so big. This is really the ultimate large wilderness blade in my opinion. There are a lot of other really good ones on the market, and like I've said already, we're going to be testing out a lot more as 2014 comes into play. We're going to see some more of Ontario's knives. I'm going to see if I can get my hands on maybe a blackjack, one of their bigger, I believe it's 8-inch blackjack. You know, I mean, there are a lot of really big 9, 10-inch wilderness blades out there, but I haven't really seen one that compares for price with the SE Hungulus, because you get that 10 inches, it's 22 ounces, so you know you got great edge retention with the 1095, good handle, not quite as good as the Becker BK9 in chopping. You know, it holds your hand better than most, but your hand still doesn't fly around. But an amazing Kydex sheath, one of the best sheaths on the market, that Kydex sheath right there, and at a reasonable price of around 160 bucks. You know, I mean, you can spend over 200 on a Tops Anaconda that's around the same. It's a little bit thicker, but it's not going to come with the Kydex sheath, and it just doesn't have quite the ergonomics that I like. So that's what I would say, is that if you're looking for an ultimate huge wilderness blade, SE Hungulus, I keep it around. I love taking it out there, particularly if I know we're going to be doing a lot of hard work. We're going to be building a couple shelters, or hey, you know what, we're just going to, you know, process a bunch of wood, and we got a couple days of fire prep we're going to have to do. SE Hungulus is definitely going on that trek because of the quality, the chopping capability, and the spanning capability of 10 inches really makes it just a no-brainer. If you got the money, get the SE Hungulus. All right, everybody, so you've seen them all. These, again, like I said at the beginning, top-rated knives. That doesn't mean the other knives that we reviewed aren't good knives. You know, a Becker BK7, great knife. Just not really fits. It doesn't really fit in my philosophy of use, and I found other knives that I just like a little bit better. It doesn't mean the Becker BK7 is a bad knife. Or, you know, the SE Laser Strike, great knife, does a lot of work for you. I like the Tops Fieldcraft knife a little bit better. So I didn't need to keep the Laser Strike around. We tested it, beat the crap out of it, and then we gave it away. So, you know, these are the knives that I love, and it's only my opinion, guys. You may totally hate the Brothers of Bushcraft blade and you love the SE Laser Strike, or you might see that there is no reason to own a GSO for that amount of money. You're like, I'll just go with the Becker BK2. Great, that's awesome, but this is what I like. And this is my opinion. You guys can either subscribe to that opinion or totally make up your own decisions. But for me, guys, these blades just blow me away. I love having them, and I can't wait to see what 2014 offers us with new blades, and see at the end of 2014 what knives have been maybe added to this group that you see before you, and maybe some knives that we don't really need anymore around here at the channel, and you know, that I can get rid of and pass on, you know, trade, you know, sell, whatever, as the years go on. So 2013, end of 2013, these are the fixed blades that I absolutely love and don't have any plans of getting rid of. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Thanks for your subscriptions, your support, comment, subscribe. Thanks so much. Stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.